right, what's going on, everybody out there? You're probably not in the comments because there was a mistake. Oh yeah, you are. You are, viewers. I see you. Thank you for coming out this evening. Really appreciate you. Pardon the delay. There's something going on with the technology nowadays with this platform I'm using, and I didn't understand it. Anyway, let's go into before we get into it. Let's go into the commercial, and then we set it off.
Peace family. Welcome to NYP Talk Show. This is more than a podcast. It's a conscious platform rooted in truth and culture. From the 5% Nation, Nation of Islam, Moorish movement, and Masonry. Our mission is to reclaim our narrative and uplift the African diaspora with real stories and real conversations. Support us through super chats during live shows, donations on Cash App, GoFundMe, Patreon, or Buzzsprout, and by repping our official merch, available on our website and right here on YouTube's merch shelf. Every dollar, every super chat, every hoodie builds the movement. This is NYP Talk Show.
All right, we're back. We're back. Thank you for coming out, checking us out this evening. We're talking about did the United States end colonialization? This is a great question. Also, excuse my audio technology. I don't know what's going on. By the weekend, we'll have all this stuff figured out. So anyway, let's go into it. Thank you, brothers, for coming out this evening. Really appreciate you for being reoccurring guests on the show. And let's take it away. Let's go straight to it.
All right. Peace. So the question, did the United States end colonization? Right? A critical thought question. What was the purpose of the United States drafting Article 4, Section 3, and the 14th Amendment? We'll get into that as we go through these slides. These questions were written by Regina Willis. She is 2 hours outside of Chicago. She is a part of the Moorish Midwest Educational Network. Questions from her kin on following slides. Abdullah Bey, I will answer all the questions from a national principle perspective, pre-existing Moorish sovereignty, recovery of lost Moorish sovereignty post-millennium, blood right tied to the land, modern race paradigm, and generational mass dehumanization and mass denationalization of our people, individual perspective versus national identity, national principle, and national political unity perspective. Question number 1. Why does nationality matter?
You want me to, I got to answer him? Want me to answer him? Or
if you want to do it that way,
I can do it that way. Yes, and we'll be answering that throughout too. Why does nationality matter? Well, there are three. So we're looking at nationality from a consanguinity perspective, the ancestry, lineage, descent, pedigree, national origin. So, but from a political sense, because we are Moors by consanguinity, so that has been taken away from us. That's our blood. But why does nationality matter from the perspective of why does the political application of nationality and the legal application of nationality matters? Because what it does in the context of international law, nationality refers to a legal bond, rights and duties, states jurisdiction, and diplomatic protection. So nationality is the core foundation of sovereignty. So it matters that, particularly for our people who have lost the knowledge of their nationality and the political framework and legal framework of our nationality has been lost. So by restoring the political and legal framework of our nationality, it will restore our legal bond, our rights and duties, our diplomatic protection, and our state jurisdiction. So that's why nationality would matter.
All right. Next question. Question number 2. What does declaring my nationality do for me?
All right. Because our more sovereignty has not been restored. I mean, meaning that our mother is still in the hospital. She's still in a coma. Our mother has been in a coma for over 200 years. Nobody set the footprints for the reversion of our more sovereignty. However, that has yet to be restored. It's been 112 years counting. I know that there's conscious more says it's been done already. It hasn't been done. Our more sovereignty and our revival, our more statehood has not been restored. So declaring, quote unquote, because you are more by consanguinity, by ancestry. So there's you declaring it doesn't make you more by consanguinity, ancestry, but the quote unquote declaring it will have to go and coincide with the recovery of our lost more sovereignty, the revival of our more statehood. I mean, you can come out your mouth and you can have paperwork, all right, but that alone does not restore the political and legal framework of our Moorish nationality. I know conscious Moors think that does, all right. So, but the declaring means that you have a consciousness, a Moorish national consciousness, but that doesn't mean that you have a legal bond to our Moorish state, because our Moorish state has not been restored. So this concept is very important. This is the number one concept that we have to grow to. All right, next one.
Question number 3. Looking at all the negative media about Moors, why would I want to be a Moor?
And 15, the Spain, Portugal, France, England / Great Britain, the Dutch Republic, the Netherlands have done all that they could do. Had wars against us, and they have redefined and reclassified us, stripped us of our culture, identity. You have the Pragmatica of 1567. King Philip II issued that royal decree forbidding us from wearing our Moorish fez, our Moorish turbans, speaking our Moorish language, Arabic. You have the European Shriners and European grottos have hijacked our culture. So there's 206 shrine temples. They use Moorish names. What I'm getting at is the value, the value of restoring the Moorish national consciousness, and how that will reconnect us to our natural position, puts us in a mental capacity to be able to work together to recover our lost Moorish sovereignty. And this by reconnecting to our illustrious history, because it's that the Europeans are wearing our Moorish fez, but they see value in it. That the Europeans are wearing our Moorish regalia, they see value in it. The Europeans use our Moorish names for their shrine temples and grotto temples. They see tremendous value in it. They have done everything to suppress our Moorish nationality, our Moorish history. They've used our Moorish, they benefit. So the negative media is the Europeans maintaining their position to keep us away from it. So why? It's because it's your birthright, and that it would re-empower us politically, economically, and socially and culturally.
Right. Now, I understand that. However, the Moors aren't in a position of power right now as a collective, and there's a lot of factions and confusion among Moors in the Moorish movement. So that's another thing. So even though with the Moorish nationality, or with the nationality, puts us in a better position as individuals, as a collective, and the bad media and press and things like that, it does, you know, I don't know. I think that it's just more factions and splits and bad media and negative press than there is positive out there. You know, it doesn't work in our favor. So how do we change that? You know what I mean? Like,
We're doing it right now. We're doing it right now. This platform. This is the how. The how. You answer the how by having this platform. You answer the question. You answer your own question by having this platform. I'm just trying to be practical. That's all. I'm not. It's not. The thing is to be practical. I'm trying to kiss it. Just trying to kiss it.
You have to take it one step at a time. And
right, that you have this platform is the how. Is a how. I mean, it's not all of the how, but I'm saying it is a how. It is a how. So I want the audience to know the value of Ron's platform, the value of platforms like this, the value of my books, the value of the outreach, the value of that, the value that you bring in different guests like ourselves from different organizations. That's tremendous value. The value that I brought in over 40 guests on my Moorish Monday platform who are part of different organizations. And you know, I'd like to have you on one day, Ron, my Moorish Monday. All right, so the value that we're working together. So I just want to just kiss it. This is part of the how.
Yep. All right. Question number 4. How does nationality affect my day-to-day activities?
All right. Once again, to provide clarity, we are Moors by consanguinity. So how, and because this will be the political application, because becoming conscious yesterday or last year, 5 or 10 years ago, did not make you a Moor. You're Moor by consanguinity. Our people who are unconscious and classified as Negro, color, black, they're Moors. So this will be the political application. So how would because our sovereignty has not been lost, has not been restored. How would the day-to-day, how does nationality affect our day-to-day? Well, our sovereignty, amen.
Yeah, you brought up.
Yeah. Because of the political and legal framework of our Moorish sovereignty has not been restored. That has to be restored. Like I said, Noah Ali laid the footprints for the recovery of our lost Moorish sovereignty. Unfortunately, you have some of those in the temple did not know didn't know what that means. They don't know what it means internationally. They don't know what that means from an international law perspective, from a sovereignty perspective. His his saying that we're not Negro, color, black, addressing, you know, the 200 the years of United States subjugation, his presenting the flag. So it, because the question implies how this having would imply how would having knowledge of it affect my day to day.
Real quick, I just want to
Yeah.
address. I just want to address the troll. He says that, dude, you barely have a third grade education. Can you explain your education, brother Abdullah?
Do I have a what degree education?
He said this whoever this person said is
Good.
said you barely have a third grade education.
Yeah, I dropped out of school at third grade. You didn't know that? I dropped out of school at third grade.
Come on, Abdullah, give him the history, Abdullah.
I dropped out of school at third grade. So I mean, yeah, you know, is that a problem that I dropped out of school at third grade?
Come on, Moore. Give him the history. Give him the history, Moore.
All right. You know, because I don't take things like stuff that personally. That don't bother me. So that's why I'm being like that. I have a BA degree from Glasgow State College, which is now called Rowan University in Glasgow, New Jersey. I have a master's degree in social work from Rutgers School, Graduate School of Social Work. I have studied etymology, which is the history, origin, and true meaning word etymology, grammar, basic grammar, advanced grammar, vocabulary building, dictionary study skills, sound shifts, poetry. I have written several books. I have lectured in 20 or 25 cities. I have taught teachers. I taught etymology at Temple University Pan-African Studies Community Education Program from 2003 to 2019. I taught over 1,500 adults etymology, grammar, vocabulary building. I taught nationality to over 10,000 students in the Kansas City Public School. I've gained respect from Europeans and other co-workers and so forth for my books. Over 20 years of research for my book, Moors and Masonry. So, and as you said I got a third grade education. That's it. All right, we good.
All right. Thanks for clarifying that. All right, now we're going into the next one.
Question number 5. How do officials recognize Moors and uphold their rights?
How do officials, in that case, from the United States officials, or also state officials, judges, senators, Congress, men and women, governors, mayors, city councils, if they're talking about officials, all right, from upholds their rights. Now, you have there are Moors, like conscious Moors like myself, like Israel, who have, gained knowledge on how to deal with certain cases in the courts, but the courts do not recognize that we're Moors. All right, what's the evidence? The fact that they continue with the case, because to recognize that we're Moors would mean that they don't have authority to hear the case. The Article 20 to Article 25 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Imperial Majesty and the United States. Those are extraterritoriality clauses. Only a Moorish consul has the authority. When if a Moor is a defendant, only a Moorish consul, not a United States prosecutor, not a state prosecutor, not a United States judge, not a state judge, only a Moorish consul. So the fact that they hear the case, the fact that they bring the prosecutor brings forth the case is evidence that they don't recognize that we're Moors. We're clear on that now. All right, so we can move on. We're not talking about conscious Moors winning cases. I'm talking about the fact that they hear the case.
So question number 6. What changes do I need to make to prepare for Moorish life? What will be different?
All right. Because most of our people are unconscious, you're going to have to do work like we're doing. Because most of our people are unconscious, and you also, as Ron mentioned, the negative views of the media and the European Shriners and the European grottos, have hijacked our Moorish fairs and our Moorish regalia and our Moorish shoes and, our Moorish language, our Moorish names. There's misconceptions. There's misconceptions among conscious Moors that's been out there for so long. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. You have to roll up your sleeves. I'm keeping it real. You may have another conscious Moor that would tell you whatever they want to tell you. All right. I'm keeping it real. There's work to be done. I'm not going to give you this pie in the sky. I'm not going to give you this. I'm not going to BS you with this. You become Moorish conscious today, and you put in some Moorish paperwork, and it's this magical paperwork, and everything is hunky dory. There are conscious Moors who tell you that BS. There are conscious Moors who will sell you that BS. I said I would never present a misconception in my life. They will sell you that BS. They will try to sell you a package for 10,000. I'm not exaggerating. For 5,000. I'm not exaggerating these numbers. For 7,000. 2,000. This magical paperwork and everything will be fine. It's BS. We got work to do to resuscitate our mother out of her over 200 year of a coma. Juali laid the foundation or set the footprints for the revival, recovery of our lost Moorish sovereignty. We got a lot of work to be done. It has not been done yet. You got conscious Moors that will BS you and said, it's been done. We got a state. It's been done already. They will BS you. I'm not going to BS you. You're going to roll up your sleeves and do the work like we're doing. Next one. The best thing to do, my brothers, is to be upfront with these people. The worst thing to do is to BS them. The worst thing to do is to sell these people the pie in the sky. That's the worst thing to do. And I've seen conscious Moors do that for 33 years because they want a position that, because they want to sell something. They want to sell them a package. So they'll just say, they'll give them the pie in the sky. We got work to do. Most of our people are still unconscious. We go to the next one.
All right. So nationality, the national identity of a people, identifying their political allegiance and political protection. Constitution, the written expression of the political unity of a people. So did the phrase in the United States, as used in a geographical sense, come about through the various land boundary cession treaties with indigenous Moorish tribes, wherein we agreed to transfer, in which they agreed to transfer the territorial sovereignty rights to our lands to the new. She was supposed to read Did the United States, as used in a geographical sense, come about through the various land boundary cession treaties with indigenous Moorish tribes, wherein they agreed to transfer their territorial sovereignty rights to our lands back to, us as Moors, indigenous Moors? Or did the phrase in the United States, as used in a geographical sense, come about through the various land boundary cession treaties, whereby Great Britain, Spain, France, Russia, and the United States of Mexico transferred their territorial sovereignty over our lands to the new extension of colonial powers called the United States?
Yeah, it's the second one.
Yeah.
It's the second one. You have there, and I used to teach the misconception. That we transferred, that the Moors transferred, allowed the Europeans to set up colonies through the treaties. I used to teach that misconception too. So those are United States being used in a geographical sense came through the second one. So what was the United States doing in 1644? The answer is United States had not been established. What was the United States doing in 1710? The answer is United States had not been established. In 1720, who was living in the United States? Anybody was saying, I'm from the United States, I'm going to the United States. Like, nobody in the world was saying that. Nobody in the world was saying, I'm from the United States. I was born in the United States. I live in the United States. I'm going to the United States. Nope. In 1720, no one in the world was saying that. How and when did people start saying, I'm from the United States? When did the United States, the term United States, appear on a map? 1784. 1784. And how did that come about? Israel just read it. Through land boundary cession treaties with Spain and France and Great Britain, United States and Mexico, and Russia. That's how that came about. I mean, that the United States was transferred, acquired territorial sovereignty through these means, through the treaties with these various European powers. That's how that came about. And we have maps too to show you.
Yeah. So the phrase in the United States, as used in a geographical sense, came about through the various land boundary cession treaties, wherein Great Britain, Spain, France, Russia, and the United States of Mexico transferred their territorial sovereignty over our Moorish lands to the United States. Cession treaties are land titles in international law. This is a continuation of European discovery, conquest, subjugation, colonization of our lands, and the continued subjugation of our people. Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution is how our land is managed under the authority of the United States Congress. So we have the French Louisiana from 1682 to 1762 map, and we see Spain, France, and
where's
Great
the
Britain.
United States? Why I don't see United States on there? Why not? I don't see United States on this map. I thought this was United States.
Right.
Like, this ain't. Why does it say that? It says Spain and France and Great Britain on there.
Mm-hmm. So then we have North American, Spanish, French, and British territories circa 1700. You see New Spain, New France, British colonies, European settlements in the New World. So did France return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did France continue to keep the conquered lands under colonial occupation by ceding it to Spain in the 1762 secret treaty of Fontainebleau?
That's the second one. France continued to keep the conquered land under colonial Occupation. Because by ceding it to another European conquering power, Spain.
Here's the
evidence. It didn't change this. It didn't change the status of the land being conquered. It's still conquered land. All right. So France transfers conquered land that they conquered to another conquering power, Spain. The land is still conquered. It didn't change the status of the land being conquered. It's still conquered land. What changed was the territorial sovereignty was transferred.
Yep.
We did with the sovereign power that exercises territorial sovereignty over the territory. That's when it changed. But it's still conquered land.
Yeah.
Because how would it no longer be conquered land? France would have to cede it, return it to what? Restore it to the native people. So therefore, it will no longer be conquered land. France leaves. France transfers, restores it to the native people. They pack up. They pack up their subjects, and they leave. That changes is no longer conquered land. Did that happen?
Nope. Here's the map. 1762, Spanish Louisiana, Española.
Another conquering power.
Yep.
Another European conquering power.
Yep. So then we have, did France and Great Britain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did France and Great Britain continue to keep the conquered lands under colonial occupation by ceding and retroceding lands to each other in Articles 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 20 of the 1763 Treaty of Paris between France and Great Britain?
Now you see this orientation. This orientation is not taught in the schools. How we're presenting it, this orientation. Because the orientation that's taught in the schools, colonization is no more. Colonization is no more. United States is established. United States is a country.
That's a good question. We got a question here. That's
colonization is no more.
We got a question. What's up with Portugal?
That's Portugal. Yeah, Portugal too. That's in Brazil. Yes, Portugal as well. But as far as in North America, that wouldn't be Portugal. Because Portugal is in South America.
Right. So
Portugal conquered parts of South America along with Spain.
Right. So they didn't cede anything to the United States.
Yeah, they didn't cede land to the United States. So that's the answer.
And then the evidence is this map here. So France and Great Britain chose to keep the land amongst themselves, amongst the colonial powers. France transferred lands, Hudson Bay Company, Spanish Louisiana, New Spain, British claims, British colonies. Did Spain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did Spain continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by retroceding it to France in Article 3 of the 1800 Third Treaty of San Ildefonso?
See? So Israel identified the treaty as well as the article in the treaty.
And you'll see that Spain retroceded Louisiana back to France. As we see, these are the claims before the French and Indian War. French claims. Spanish claims. Hudson Bay Company, British colonies, Spanish Florida, Cuba, and unexplored. Again, English colonies, New France, English, New Spain. So did England and Great Britain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did England/Great Britain continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States via the first 13 states in Articles 1 and 2 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States?
Before we go into that, I just want to recognize Joey for sending the $20 on the super chat. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Peace to you.
So the evidence to that, this map, United States after the Treaty of Paris, 1783, showing claims of can't read, it's kind of blurry down there. You can see 13 original states: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Then we have Florida down here.
And remember, these are states now. These aren't the Article 1 of the. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
The map. Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty. His Britannic Majesty King George III. He acknowledges the United States viz. All 13 are named. So it's not. It doesn't read United States. It reads United States viz. V-I-Z. In Latin means namely, and all 13 are named after the word viz. Or in Article 1. To recognize them to be free, sovereign, and independent states, and he treats with them, he relinquishes, which means that King George III relinquishes the boundaries in North Carolina County Charter to North Carolina State. King George III relinquishes the boundaries in the William Penn Charter to Pennsylvania Commonwealth, Pennsylvania. King George III relinquishes the boundaries in the Virginia County Charter to Virginia State. King George III relinquishes the boundaries, the land boundaries that's in the Connecticut County Charter to Connecticut State. That's what that means. That is what that means in Article 1. Yeah. So King George III did not return it to the native people. So if there is a just to provide more clarity, and I've seen this you'll see this in cases. If there is a land dispute between Maryland State and Virginia State, where they're not going to bring in the Constitution of Maryland State and Virginia State, what are they going to bring in the court? The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court would hear it. The Supreme Court would hear the land disputes because they're the boundaries that so far as the boundaries concerned. They're not going to bring in. Why won't they bring in the Constitution? Why aren't they going to examine the Virginia State Constitution and the Maryland State Constitution? Because the land boundaries are not in their constitutions. It's in the what? The charters. It's in the Virginia Charter and particularly the 1609 Plymouth Charter and the 1619 Charter. And then you have the Maryland County Charter. That's where the land boundaries. So the people of the state, the people of Maryland State, assumes rights as far as the boundaries concerned under the charter. That's what that relinquishing. He relinquishes. He didn't relinquish it to the native people. So we're showing once again the question is, did the United States end colonization? The boundaries were already set up. The boundaries was in the charters. New York's Virginia State didn't set the boundaries. New York State didn't set the boundaries. Connecticut State didn't survey the boundaries. Pennsylvania State didn't survey the boundaries. North Carolina State didn't survey the boundaries. South Carolina State didn't survey the boundaries. It was what? Under the authority of the King and Queens of England.
Oh wow!
Through the charters, and they were what? They were relinquished to the states, showing a clear continuation of colonization.
All right, we got a question that's pretty. I love this question. Oh, 11 Gate. 11 Gate. We're talking about the United States. That's why we're not talking about Haiti right now. We're talking about the United States.
Yeah, we don't want to get
Right. So this question right here. Are these foreign colony pardon me. What is that?
Colonizing,
yeah.
Colonizing nations, the private corporations that operate the Federal Reserve, in which the U.S. nationals are indebted to, not the U.S. citizens, but the U.S. nationals, black people.
Yeah, he's not. All right.
These foreign colonizing nations, the private corporations that operate the Federal Reserve, in which the U.S. nationals are indebted to. That's a great question.
All right. What we're discussing here, what this embodies, is the change. Let me give the international law principles, because I think we're talking about territorial sovereignty. Territorial sovereignty, because I think we got because that's part of this presentation, explain the international law principles. I don't think he would have asked that question if he had listened us long enough to listen to the international law principles and elements. He or she would have, Alfonso would never ask this question. He's not, we're talking about international law principles. What's that play here? We're talking about conquest, discovery, conquest, colonization, and subjugation. Acquisition, international law. You have acquisition of territory. In international law, you have loss of sovereignty. So we're taught, how did the United States acquire the various territories? We're showing that. The primary principle that's at play is known as territorial sovereignty. An element of territorial sovereignty is that the state that is transferred to sovereignty gains control over the defined territory as well as the inhabitants. So we're looking at change of sovereignty and its effects on the nationality of the inhabitants. We're looking at general secession and its effects and law of secession and the effects it has on and change of sovereignty and the effects it has on the inhabitants of the land. So these are areas of, stay with us with international law. So France, just to try to provide clarity here, France conquered our land. France conquered a large portion of our land. Under Louis XIV, a survey was done. The survey map in international law becomes the title. A survey in the boundaries, outlining the boundaries of French conquest of our land. We're talking conquest here. This is stronger than what this question. This is, what I'm saying, this is more powerful than the question. This is more powerful than the IRS. This is more powerful than U.S. citizens. This is more powerful we're talking conquest of our land. I think it's not understanding right now because they didn't give us a chance, though, right? Which I understand you want to ask questions why they do, but it didn't give us a chance to go through because he doesn't see that the conquest overrides anything he has in the question. The conquest overrides anything he has in question. So let us continue, brother. We got you. You got to be on. We're talking conquest here.
Yep.
We're talking change of sovereignty. We're talking loss of sovereignty and the effects it has on the nationality of the inhabitants of the land. We're talking how the United States gained territorial sovereignty.
Here we go.
We're talking discovery. We're talking subjugation. This is more powerful than any of the points he raised in this question. But we're talking foundation here. That's not foundation.
Mm-hmm.
That's not foundation. We be clear. Any of the points he raised in the question is not foundation. This is foundation. I had to say it that way so we can provide such clarity, and he'll see it as we continue. It is good, though. I thank you for the question, but make me clear that what I'm saying is, compared to what we're talking about, that's minuscule. That's minuscule compared to this presentation. That's minuscule. They don't want you to know this. They don't want you to be clear on this. What we're doing in the presentation, what you're presenting, that's minuscule.
All right.
I had to say it that way so that to provide clarity on the value on what we're presenting. If you're talking foundation of anything, any surface thing is minuscule to the foundation.
Right.
Ryan understands.
Yep. All right. So this is the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 as Article 4, Section 3, of the United States Constitution. States and territories of the United States, 1787. You have unclaimed territories to the left, Viceroyalty of New Spain, Colony of Louisiana, Rupert's Land, United Kingdom, disputed between Northwest Territory and the Rupert's Land, UK, Connecticut Western Reserve, Erie Triangle, disputed between Massachusetts and Colony of New Brunswick, UK. And then we have the 13 states, and here we have the Northwest Territory.
I just try to make this point here to bring it home more, because I just thought about this. The United States set up Spanish Land Grant Office. Why did the United States set up Spanish Land Grant Office? I got it. Listen,
Right.
I can go. I can spit this, brother. United States set up the Spanish Land Grant Office. Why? When United States of Mexico ceded, remember, Spain conquered that. Spain conquered all of that part of the West Coast. All right, here, see here, the map. Spain conquered that. So Spain exercised territorial sovereignty. Spain in the 15, 16, and 1700s granted Spanish land grants to soldiers and Spanish families. Those are personal rights. When the United States of Mexico took over in 1820, United States of Mexico was obligated to protect the personal rights of those Spanish land grants. When the United States of Mexico ceded it to United States is obligated to protect those Spanish land grants. You're talking about 2,000 acres, 1,000. There's cases. There's been ongoing cases since the 1800s. There were Spanish land grant cases. The United States set up the Spanish land grant office to manage the Spanish land grant cases. These things, what I'm saying is that's minuscule. That question, those elements of the question is minuscule. These are elements, these are things that are going on that we don't know, that we're not aware of. That was set in place in the 1500s, 1700s. Spanish land grant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. That's minuscule. They don't want us to know this.
Yep.
I continue.
Again, Northwest Territory, 1787, which was the groundwork for Article 4, Section 3, admittance of a new state in the United States Constitution. So did France return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did France continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 3 of the 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty between France and the United States? And when I put this question, I'm putting the article, I'm putting the reference in the question. So the source that you can go and look into, you can Google Article 3,
awesome.
the 1803 Louisiana Purchase Treaty, and all the other slides that are like this. You can, definitely research and check everything. Did Great Britain and the United States return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land? Or did Great Britain and the United States continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding lands to each other in Article 2 of the Convention of 1818 between Great Britain and the United States?
So the status of the land is the same. It's conquered. It's still conquered land.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna lead. All these are leading up to the map as well. So the map will show what the answers are. Mm-hmm. So did Spain return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Spain continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 2 of the 1819 Adams-Onís Treaty between Spain and the United States? Did Mexico return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Mexico continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 1 of the 1846 Treaty regarding... that's not it.
Between United States and Mexico and United States.
Yeah, here it is, right here.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
Did Mexico return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Mexico continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 5 of the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo between the United States of Mexico and the United States? So did Mexico return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Mexico continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 1 of the 1853 Gadsden Purchase Treaty between the United States of Mexico and the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Did Russia return the conquered and colonized land to the indigenous people of the said land, or did Russia continue to keep the conquered land under colonial occupation by ceding it to the newly founded United States in Article 1 of the 1867 Treaty concerning the cession of the Russian possessions in North America by His Majesty the Emperor of the Russias to the United States of America between Russia and the United States? And Alaska was involved in this treaty.
Awesome.
And here are your answers. So we have here territory of original 13 states ceded by Great Britain in 1783, the definitive peace treaty. We have down here East Florida, West Florida, Spanish cession in 1819. Spain ceded territorial sovereignty to the United States and not back to the indigenous people. Louisiana Purchase, 1803, from France to the United States. British cession ceded to Great Britain, 1818. British cession, 1818. So this is when United States exchange lands with Great Britain, exchange territorial sovereignty over the land with Great Britain. The Oregon Territory, 1846, treaty with Great Britain. Great Britain ceded land to the United States. Mexican cession, 1848, Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Mexico ceded territorial sovereignty to the United States. The Gadsden Purchase Treaty, 1853, from Mexico to the United States. Mexico transferred territorial sovereignty to the United States. And down here is the Alaska Purchase Treaty with Russia. Russia ceding territorial sovereignty to the United States. And to the left, we have Hawaii, the annexation of 1898, former Republic of Hawaii. And before that, it was the Kingdom of Hawaii.
Awesome.
As we can see, the territorial sovereignty was not transferred, or the titles to the lands were not transferred back to the indigenous aboriginal peoples of the land.
Hence, the land is still conquered in the hands of the United States. Conquered. United States is in the hands of conquered land.
Yeah.
You see, it's the orientation that colonization ended. It's the
Article 4, Section 3. That's how they manage all this land. It's through Article 4, Section 3.
United States Constitution. And that was, we can, we'll see if we had time to get into that.
Here we go right here, yeah.
Oh, you got it here. All right, you got it here. All right.
Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution lays out the procedure for the United States to maintain and manage our This is evidence of the continuation of European discovery, conquest, colonization, and subjugation of Moorish land. This article gives the United States Congress territorial sovereignty over Moorish land. The territorial sovereignty was transferred to the United States by the various treaties with Great Britain, France, Spain, the United States of Mexico, and Russia. Today, Congress is exercising territorial sovereignty over Moorish lands.
See the perspective?
And this is Article 4, relationships between the states, Section 3, new states and federal property, Clause 1, admissions. So this is Article 4, Section 3 in the United States Constitution. You can Google it and read along. New states may be admitted by the Congress into this union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of two or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned, as well as of the Congress. Clause 2, territory and other property. It's Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States. And nothing in this Constitution shall be so construed as to prejudice any claims of the United States or of any particular state. This is 13, subsection 1322, volume. What is this from, Brother Abdullah?
I think this is from
Joseph Story commentaries.
Yes.
Okay. Joseph Story commentaries on the Constitution of the United States, volume 3, Boston, 1833.
Yeah, that's it.
So subsection 1322, the power of Congress over the public territory is clearly exclusive and universal, and their legislation is subject to no control, but is absolute and unlimited unless so fair as it is affected by stipulations in the sessions or by the ordinance of 1787, under which any part of it has been settled. but the power of Congress to regulate the other national property, unless it has acquired by cession of the state's exclusive jurisdiction, is not necessarily exclusive in all cases. If the national government owned a fort, arsenal, hospital, or lighthouse establishment not so ceded, the general jurisdiction of the state is not excluded in regard to the site, but subject to the rightful exercise of the powers of the national government, it remains in full force.
All right, let me explain. So that cession, if as far as affected by stipulations in the cessions or by the ordinance of 1787, it goes cessions. The Revolutionary War between United States and Great Britain. United States, they were gained control over the Northwest Territory, what is now known as with 5 states were formed. Part of Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana. Indiana. I go back to that map. Go back to the map so I can. It'll be better for. Yes. The Northwest Territory. I think it was a black something on there. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. So there was. The United States gained control. There was six of the largest states made claims in 1777. Great Britain lost control of this area during the Revolutionary War. 6 of the largest states made claims to this. Virginia had the largest claim. Virginia State had the largest claim. Virginia State made the claim based on the 1607 charter and the 1619 charter. There was 7 of the smaller states did not have claims to this. This was a major dispute. The Articles of Confederation was drafted in 1777. It was not ratified until 1781, 4 years later. What held up the ratification of the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union was a major holdup was the dispute over this land. The smaller states were afraid that those states who had claims would grow larger in size, of course, economically and politically. So Samuel Chase proposed that it would be managed in the hands of Congress. So Virginia ceded her claim. That's where it said that cession, where Story mentioned cession. Which, if it's not, Virginia ceded her claim in 1784. So when Story reference cession, he's talking about that. He's talking about the states ceding their claims over the territory. So if there's no stipulation in the cessions, where Connecticut and Virginia and the other states, 4 other states ceding their claims, and also the ordinance of 1787. That's the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. So let's lead up to that. Then you had the land ordinance. Thomas Jefferson drafted the land ordinance of 1784. That was a proposal to what to do with this land here, to make states out of it. So that was the first proposal. So the second proposal was the land ordinance of 1785. Now, what was missing in those two ordinances, land ordinances, was that would be managed in the hands of Congress. That still had not been settled. During the Constitutional Convention in 1787, this was a major issue. The smaller states had threatened to walk out. There was a smaller committee that met outside of the Constitutional Convention to draft the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. And in there, it had the final teeth, where it would have the equal footing clause, Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. The United States shall guarantee a Republican form of government in every state of the Union. That's the equal footing clause. Also, Article 4, Section 3 would be managed in the hands of Congress. So that way, no state will gain an advantage. This is major. That's what Story is referring to. Cession and the ordinance of 1787. I just want to so that I wanted to put that in context when you reread that so they can understand. Thank you.
All right.
A lot of conscious boys don't know this. A lot of conscious boys need to listen to this because they don't know this.
Definitely take notes. Definitely take notes. Check everything we're saying. Territorial sovereignty, ceded and relinquished to the United States with land boundary cession treaties with Great Britain, France, Spain, Russia, the United States of Mexico, and the subjugation and annexation of the Kingdom of Hawaii. International law principles. Number 1, acquisition of territory. Number 2, loss of sovereignty. Number 3, law of succession. Number 4, territorial sovereignty. Number 5, acquisition of nationality through subjugation and cession. Number 6, change of sovereignty and its effects upon the inhabitants. Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution. 14th Amendment of 1868. The member states of the Union, birthright certificates.
Now, this is what has played. This is at play today. We're talking today. That's why I said that's the IRS and all that stuff. That's minor compared to what this. This is the foundation. This is the foundation that the United States is standing on. It ain't no IRS, nothing. Ain't no Federal Reserve Bank, nothing. How is it the Federal Reserve Bank and the IRS and whatever? When we talk about how the United States acquired the territory, that supersedes that. We're talking about these treaties that ceded these. We're talking about that France and Spain and Great Britain and the Dutch Republic and the Dutch. They surveyed, they battled us. They surveyed the land. They ceded. We're talking about that. We're talking about the United States gaining territorial sovereignty. This supersedes any IRS discussion. This supersedes any Federal Reserve Bank discussion. We're talking about the very foundation in which they stand on to even the claim that this is the United States. On how are they making the claim that this is United States? I'm from the United States. I live in the United States. I'm going. What's the foundation of this claim that this is the United States? We're showing y'all that supersedes any discussion on the Federal Reserve Bank. That supersedes any discussion. There's nothing you can say to me about the IRS, Federal Reserve Bank, that is more powerful than what we're presenting. That has to sink in. That has to sink in. This is new to them. It's new. I get it. It's new. That's all that is. It's new to them. So they've been hearing about the IRS and they've been hearing about the UCCs and that's all because that's all they know. And this is new to them. I get it. Take notes. Listen to it 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm. So change of sovereignty and concessions. Number 1, general principles. The principle of international law as announced by Chief Justice Marshall. The principle of international law as announced by Chief Justice Marshall in the famous Hirschman case and supported by a long list of American decisions is that no confiscation of private property and land results from a mere change of sovereignty. Will this principle be sufficient and adequate to protect private property rights in concessions and contracts? In other words, since contracts no less than land may constitute valuable and irreplaceable private property, should any distinction be made in the application of the Hirschman principle between land and contracts? where the parties to the contracts are private persons or corporations, there seems to be no essential distinction between property in the form of land and property in the form of contracts. In either case, the change of sovereignty must of itself affect no forfeiture, where, for instance, territory passes out of the sovereignty of state X and under the sovereignty of state Y, just as state Y must not allow the change of sovereignty to affect the ownership of land held by a private individual, A, within the ceded territory, so state Y must not allow it to affect the ownership of contract rights held by A against some private obligor or debtor, B.
This is why we're saying that we need to go through the presentation so that you can see more information. This is the very point of what I was saying 15 minutes ago.
So this is change of sovereignty of a people, and this bigger. All right, laws, usages, and municipal regulations in force at the time of cession remain in force until changed by the new sovereignty. The new sovereign may deal with the inhabitants and give them what law it pleases, unless restrained by the treaty of cession. But until alteration be made, the former law continues. By the recent treaty with Spain, sovereignty is ceded to the United States over Puerto Rico and the Philippine Islands, with the following proviso. The civil and political status of the native inhabitants of the territories hereby ceded to the United States shall be determined by Congress. The ceding power imposes no conditions and reserves no rights defined and secured by the federal Constitution to the inhabitants of these new possessions. None of our territories have ever been organized under the Constitution, but are creatures exclusively of the legislative department of the government and subject to its supervision and control. And in a territory, all the functions of government are within the legislative jurisdiction of Congress. Consequently, it is for Congress to decide what the political status of residents of our new possessions shall be, whether they shall exercise the rights of suffrage or not, and that right, if granted, may be limited or extended at the will of Congress. The late treaty with France, distinguished from all others heretofore made by the United States in the acquisition of new territory, it is provided in the Treaty of 1803 for the cession of Louisiana that the inhabitants of the ceded territory shall be incorporated in the Union of the United States and admitted as soon as possible, according to the principles of the federal Constitution, to the enjoyment of all the rights, advantages, and immunities of the citizens of the United States. And in the meantime, they shall be maintained and protected in the free enjoyment of their liberty, property, and the religion which they profess.
Those are French subjects. Those are French subjects who were born and raised on our land. French subjects who were born and raised on our land when they go to Louisiana territory. They didn't go nowhere. When France ceded it to Spain in 1762 through the Treaty of Fontainebleau, the French subjects did not leave. The French subjects remained. They remained under the Spanish territorial sovereignty. Spain had mismanaged the land. They mistreated the French subjects. They also brought in Spanish subjects to the territory. So because Spain mismanaged the land, it's like a hot potato. They don't want it no more. they effed it up. They don't want it no more. So they retroceded to France. Now, France was in this war with Haiti. France was in this long war with Haiti. They cash strapped. Remember, the land is mismanaged. They don't know what to do with it. All right. They're not in a position to do something with it. But the United States is. Why? Why the United States is? Because the United States settled the dispute, settled the land dispute. Remember, I've talked about over the Northwest Territory that settled the land dispute they had, this major dispute, and in the ordinance 1787, ordinance of 1787, and agreed for Congress to manage it. So you're talking about 1780, 1787 to what? 1803. That's what? 16 years. So there was already what? Experience. They had already created 5 states. They had already populated with the Europeans from Europe. They were already in position to do something with it. They did. They created 14 states out of it.
Mm.
Yep.
No discussion on the IRS is greater than this. No discussion on the Federal Reserve Bank is greater than this. This is something new to them. That's all that is.
So the status, zoom in on this. Status of inhabitants of territory status of inhabitants of territory acquired by discovery, purchase, cession, or conquest, according to the usage of the United States. From an early period in American history, 2 principal theories were entertained and insisted upon by their respective advocates in reference to the power to acquire territory. These theories were conflicting and were influenced by the opposing interpretations which the national and states' rights schools placed upon the powers of Congress under constitutional grants. The states' rights school at first denied that the United States had power under the Constitution to acquire new territory. The national school insisted that the power existed and was necessarily inherent in the government as an attribute of sovereignty. Notwithstanding the doubt of denial of the extreme state rights school, Louisiana and Florida were acquired by purchase, Texas by annexation, and an extensive territory was acquired by treaty with Mexico. The annexation of the Hawaiian Islands was effected by joint resolution of Congress. The Northwestern Territory, acquired previous to the adoption of the federal Constitution by cession from Virginia, was regulated by an ordinance for the government of the territory of the United States northwest of the river Ohio, adopted by the Old Congress July 13, 1787. Territorial, and that's the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Territorial governments have from time to time been organized out of the other territories of the United States. The recent act of Congress organizing the territory of Hawaii prescribes specifically what classes of the inhabitants shall be deemed citizens of the United States. What classes? The character and extent of the power of Congress over the territories have been the subject of repeated and excited discussion in and out of Congress. The National School have insisted that under the Constitution, Congress have absolute and despotic power over the territories, that whatever they have the power to do, they have the right to do, if in their judgment it will conduce to the general welfare.
Article 4, Section 3, we talked about that. Article 4, Section 3, and the states agreed to that. The states agreed to that. But they ceded their claims, and they agreed to that in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, that it would be managed in the hands of Congress. So Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution is drafted from the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Yep. But remember, the Congress does not have the original claim, though. That's why it's not Article 1. Let me be clear. Because I want y'all to be scholars, become scholars. It's not Article 1. It's Article 4. Article 1, Section 1 of the United States Constitution. The legislative power, United States legislative power, shall be vested. All right, inherit. So why isn't it Article 1? Article 1 power? Because what? It's not an inherent power of Congress. Remember, the states had the original claim. The states have the original claim because they made they ceded their claim in the Northwest Ordinance to Congress. That's why it's not Article 1. Because they can what? That can be retroceded. So that's why. I mean, we talking about the conquest now. We got the Moors have the original claim by blood. All right, so United States, the people of the United States, the people of the United States, the people of the land. That's two different people. The people of the land, the original, autochthonous, native, aboriginal, indigenous people of the land. That's the people of the land. The people of the United States. So the people of the land's claim to land is based in blood. The peoples of the United States claim to the land, we're showing y'all that. We're showing y'all the peoples of the United States claim to land is based in what? We showed y'all. That's what this whole presentation is about. We showed y'all the people of the United States claim to the land is based in what? The land boundary cession treaties from the various, from Spain and from Great Britain, from Russia, from France, from the United States and Mexico. Their claim to the land is based in that, but not blood rights. So conscious Moors, hear me out, conscious Moors, hear me out. You claim to be people of the United States, that's an inferior claim, which means you don't claim to have a blood right claims to the land. You claim to be people of the United States, I got you. It means that your claim ain't based in blood rights, because the people of the United States claim is only based in those treaties. I mean, the land, Spanish territorial sovereignty, French territorial sovereignty was transferred to the United States through treaties. Their claim is based in that. Yep. Our claim, the people of the land's claim is based in blood. Israel, I didn't know this. You know I didn't. I taught misconceptions for 27 years, brother.
Right. Yep. Proper concepts now.
Right. This is why I was saying that what we're presenting supersedes that the federal. That's nothing. That's minor to what we're presenting.
Yeah, it wouldn't even exist without this. We're talking about.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. I want to go to the foundation. The people need to know the foundation.
Right. Yeah. Do you want me to read all of this one, brother, or was it a certain?
Do you think it's necessary? It's up to you. I'm gonna let you make the call.
We'll go to the next one.
All right.
Get in so we can read about territorial sovereignty. This is an AI overview. Y'all can do, you can do more in-depth studies and research and whatnot. This is just a stepping stone. Territorial sovereignty is the right of a state to govern its territory and control its borders without outside interference. It's a fundamental principle of international law that helps define the relationship between nations. How does territorial sovereignty work? It gives a state the power to rule over its land and people. It emphasizes the importance of political independence and territorial integrity. It helps states claim land and resolve conflicts over territory. It's a key factor in international relations and law. Article 4, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the power to govern U.S. territories and property. This includes the power to create political divisions, set rules and regulations, and dispose of the territory. How does this apply to U.S. territories? Congress can create territorial governments within the U.S. Congress can incorporate territories into the U.S., granting them the same constitutional protections as U.S. residents. Congress can also regulate unincorporated territories, which are not on the path to statehood. Congress can allow U.S. territories to become independent nations, as was done with the Philippines.
Man, this is a great presentation, brother, because You even give the foundation of to them to understand this.
Yeah.
The origin of where Congress even where they gained their thought to even do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. We give it a foundation.
Yeah.
Now they begin to understand. Oh, now we see why Congress can do that. Oh yeah, because Spain and France transferred territorial sovereignty to the United States. Oh, that's see.
Yeah.
United States now. Oh, I get it. Because without that, they can't. We when we talk about no IRS, when we talk about the Federal Reserve Bank, we wouldn't be talking about no United. I mean, the other stuff you wouldn't be talking about because this is the foundation of it.
Yeah. All right. So key points. Key points about Article 4, Section 3, and territorial sovereignty. Plenary power. This clause gives Congress broad and complete power to manage territories, including establishing local governments, creating laws, and regulating property within those territories. Admission of new states. The section also outlines the process for admitting new states into the Union, requiring congressional approval and ensuring that new states are admitted on an equal footing with existing states. Historical context. The Founding Fathers included this provision to address the issue of newly acquired land from the Louisiana Purchase and to ensure consistent governance across different territories. Northwest Ordinance as precedent. The Northwest Ordinance is often cited as a key example of how Congress utilized Article 4, Section 3 to establish a territorial government with provisions for eventual statehood. Oh. All right. Important aspects of territorial sovereignty under Article 4, Section 3. No inherent statehood. Territories are not considered states and do not have full representation in Congress until admitted by Congress. Congressional oversight. Congress has the power to create and modify territorial governments, including setting rules for elections and establishing local laws. Evolution of territorial governance. As a territory develops and gains population, Congress may gradually grant more self-governance through the creation of a territorial legislature.
And in fact, Congress did that in the Northwest Territory. They were Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. They were all governed under the Northwest the Northwest Ordinance. They were all governed under North. It was Northwest Territory. That was they didn't have constitution they for a period of time until they were able to gain a certain amount of population, and then they had constitutional conventions. So that's where that's I'm tying that in to what Israel just read. They will understand it better, man. This is studying from a jurist perspective.
Yep.
Not a law school's perspective. We're not talking law school. We're not talking law school. This is political science. This is not law school. Hear me out. This is not regular law school. Attorneys do not know this. Attorneys won't not be able to give this presentation. International jurists, yes. International law professors, yes. But not attorneys that go to regular law school. They don't know this. They can't give this presentation. This is political science. This is international law. This is political philosophy. We're giving you all three: political philosophy, political science, and international law. That's all three. This is not law school. I'm going to be clear. This is not taught in law school. This is taught in international law school. This is taught in political science. This is taught in political philosophy, but not law school, regular law schools, not. Because I don't want them to assume that they've talked to an attorney and you'll be teaching them. They won't be able to carry a conversation with you. They won't be able to hold a conversation with you. You become their teacher. They would have to take out a notebook, take notes from you. Right.
Yeah. All right. So when a territory changes sovereignty, the nationality of the people living there also changes, meaning their citizenship
These attorneys don't know that. This ain't taught in there. This is international law. This ain't, you say that, they'd be like, huh?
Yeah. So often determined by the new state's laws regarding nationality acquisition, potentially impacting their rights and obligations depending on the specific circumstances of the change in power. This is particularly relevant in situations like territorial transfers, annexation, or independence movements. Key points about how changes of sovereignty affect nationality. Automatic change. In most cases, when a territory changes hands, the inhabitants automatically acquire the nationality of the new sovereign state. Legal framework. International law, including treaties on state succession, provides guidelines on how nationality should be handled during sovereignty changes, but states still have some discretion in implementing these rules. Options for individuals. Depending on the specific situation, individuals might be given options to retain their old nationality, acquire the new nationality, or opt for a different path, depending on their personal circumstances.
All right, let me go read that one and I'll explain. Go ahead. Read that last one.
Potential issues. Changes in sovereignty can lead to complexities like statelessness, where individuals are left without a nationality due to the transition, or situations where individuals are forced to choose between multiple nationalities.
All right, let me explain the option clause. Now, all the treaties don't have option clauses. All right, there is no option clause for the inhabitants, the French inhabitants, the French subjects. In the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, there's no option clause. The French subjects were fully incorporated within the Union of the United States. There's no option clause. That was 1803. But there is an option clause in the Guadalupe Treaty between the United States of Mexico and the United States. The option is in the clause, Mexican nationals and what is now known as California, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Oregon. I think it was Oregon. They had 1 year to notify the Mexican government. If they wanted to remain Mexican nationals, they had 1 year to notify the Mexican government. They didn't have to go to that little section they call Mexico today. They didn't have to go there. They just had to notify the Mexican government that they will remain Mexican nationals. They would remain their allegiance. Their allegiance still would be to Mexico, United States of Mexico. They had 1 year. If they did not notify the Mexican government in 1 year, under ipso jure, through the mere operation of law, all right, so as an option clause, they will be what? Become what? Automatically citizens of the United States. Not through no immigration. They will automatically become citizens of the United States. That's the option clause. I just wanted to explain that the treaty that has the option clause and the treaty that does not have an option clause. So that, as I said, we prepare them to become scholars. Because the more references you can give, that increases your scholarship for someone who has only has a third grade education?
Oh, now we got another one. Leon is back. Leon is back. Uh, Leon is back. So Leon is realizing is a foundational Black American
Yeah. All
type
right.
person, and
Uh-huh.
so he wants to basically know if you're West Indian, where your family from.
I'm a Moor. I'm Aboriginal, Native, and Indigenous to these lands. I'm a Moor. I mean, West Indian. That's not a nationality. That's not a pedigree, ancestry, lineage, descent. I mean, the West Indies. Where's the treaties and where's the diplomatic relations with this? I'm a Moor by consequentity.
What country your family from?
All right. We showed you the maps. We showed you the maps. All right. So we showed you the maps, and you see how the names change on the maps with the international law principles that are at play, where France and to Spain and back to France and now United States, and so we see that. So I am Moroccan. I am a Moroccan descent. The Moroccan Empire has been collapsed due to French, Spanish, Dutch, the Netherlands, Swedish, Portugal, conquest, and subjugation. It led to the loss of Moroccan sovereignty.
And that's a great. That's a great.
I gotta explain it this way. I mean, I gotta explain by principle. I mean,
oh man, that's funny.
Just because he's gonna look at a map and he ain't gonna see Morocco on the map, he gonna see United States. But we showed y'all what's that play there. Right. That's why I said that this lesson is, because this is foundational. They begin to understand the international principles that's involved in that. It went from on the maps from Great Britain to United States. What is the international law principles? Territorial sovereignty, chains of sovereignty, and its effects on the nationality and the habits of the land.
Leon
Law of secession, territorial sovereignty, acquisition of nationality, subjugation. We're presenting those principles and the terminology and the principles at play and the elements.
Right, yo, Leon Coleman, I think you the feds, bro. I think you the feds. You the feds. Leon Coleman, are you the feds?
I wish the feds were on here just because they'll learn something. They don't know this, so we just bring them on. Bring FBI on here, CIA, bring them on here. That's good, so they can learn. Don't know, because they'll be learning from us. We ain't gonna be learning from them because they can't teach this. Ain't no the CIA agents know this? Hell no. Right. This is international law. This is political science. This is political philosophy. FBI agents don't know this. They gonna dispute us? We want FBI agents to come on. Like I'm saying, dispute us based on what?
Yeah.
What evidence they gonna present that counters this? This is the evidence. The treaty is the evidence. What we're doing is we're giving the international law principles to explain it, because that's the only way you're going to explain it. Because within the principles are the elements. Everybody else reading it. We're explaining it by what? The elements of the principles. That gives you a clear understanding of what's going on the dynamics. This is major. I love this, man. Man, I love this presentation, man.
Yeah. So examples of situations where changes of sovereignty affect nationality. Colonial independence. When a colony gains independence, the inhabitants usually become citizens of the new nation. Territorial cession. If a country transfers territory to another state, the people living in that territory typically become citizens of the new state.
There you go. United States of Mexico. We explained it. Gave y'all examples and everything. He's explaining what? The principles and the elements. Those are the elements of territorial sovereignty. Like, we're making it plain.
Annexation. When a country forcibly takes over another territory, the inhabitants may be granted or denied the nationality of the annexing state.
Kingdom of Hawaii. United States gained territorial sovereignty over through subjugation. So United States, that's a new title. Through subjugation. The United States subjugated the Kingdom of Hawaii and later annexed her. In the year 1800, that those who were part of, then you had the formation of the Republic of Hawaii. Richard Dole of Dole's Pineapple was part of establishing the Republic of Hawaii. And those who were part of the Republic of Hawaii, the Title 8 of the United States Codes, the year 1900. And that's what it reads. Those who are part of the Republic of Hawaii would be citizens of the United States. And those who are now born. And in international law, that is known as acquisition of nationality through subjugation, whereby the United States is forcing the people of Hawaii into their legal system and through legislation, creating a new citizenship framework. In international law, that's an international law application, the acquisition of nationality through subjugation. So now what we're explaining it.
Yeah, we got
using international law framework.
Got to keep this one going. This is a.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah. This is the foundation that's set on.
That.
Okay.
That's the whole point I was saying. We could do a review next time, Israel. Yeah. Let's put together a review.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that on the next podcast.
On the next podcast, a review. Yeah, you want to we do it with Ron. You want because like you're not Israel get together and with you too, Ron. You want to you said we're supposed to have some questions. Yeah, raise some questions, and a review. Review will be good.
I don't want to put this. I say it on live. It'll be nice for Cosmo to get in on this right here. This one right here. I want to figure out how is the temple dealing with this information, how we could all bring it together and figure a way out to present it to the actual government, and things like that. So I would like to have a discussion upon that.
Well,
in the presentation it was talking about, it stated that the Congress has the power to, make significant changes to help us pretty much in our nationality. So
no, that's not what we read.
No. Listen,
help me out. Come again. Then I thought you would
not make significant changes to our nationality.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is make significant changes to pretty much bridge the gap between our nationality, the land, and how we are presented to the government moving forward. As opposed to being Negro, Black, and colored, we are now this Moorish American, and we have ties to the land based on this particular history.
Yeah, that's subjugation. They've already violated. It's been 200 years. United States is in violation of subjugation. Meaning that, so it's not, you wouldn't, thank you, Ron. We wouldn't go to Congress. You would go to World Court. You wouldn't go to. They violated already. It's been 200 years.
Okay. It's international.
But it's an act of subjugation, meaning that the United States reclassify in their census, in their records, in the census, they've classified it as a black nigger color. That's an act of subjugation. That is not to be heard in the United States Supreme Court. That's not to be heard in Congress. That's an act of subjugation to be addressed because we are people of a foreign state. That is to be put forth in world court against the United States. We're talking about over 200 years of subjugation, Vaughn. Of stripping, bro, that's major. Stripping a people of their cultural identity, redefining and reclassifying a people. That's that's culture genocide. That is not to be heard in United States courts. That's not to be heard in front of Congress. That's to be heard in world court.
Yeah. For clarity, yeah, because Spain, France, Dutch,
and Netherlands. Part of it, exactly. United States has maintained it.
They did the stripping. They stripped us of our nationality.
Absolutely. They're part of it too. The United States has maintained it for over 200 years.
Receiving stolen property, yeah, in the sense.
Absolutely.
Indeed. We're short on time right now.
Yeah. We got less than 3 minutes.
Let's definitely do a review on this.
And then we'll bring that part of review. This last discussion here, Israel, we'll bring that as part of review. On where this can be addressed,
right?
The proper venue to address it, and why?
Indeed, we have the FBA people like to come in too. they like to come in.
Oh no, I'm fine with that, but I want to have a discussion based on facts, though. Like because to have a discussion based on emotion and stuff, that's not. Have a discussion we're bringing foundation here. We're bringing facts. Like this, let's discuss. I mean, if someone's going to refute us, I have no problem with that. Examine the facts that we're presenting, and then by point. But don't come with some emotional. That ain't so. He got a 3rd grade education. Just to dismiss it out of hand. Like I'm saying, don't come with BS.
Yeah, show your works.
Right.
Show your work. Yeah.
On that note, thank you, brothers, for coming out this evening.
I'm not offended by somebody saying I got a 3rd grade education. That didn't offend me,
Don't worry about that.
Man, I'm cool with that, man.
on that note, thank you, brothers, for coming out this evening. Really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all coming out, even the trolls and all of that. Leon Coleman, I think you're young or something like that. You got to be young. You can't be over 30. I
don't think so. I don't think he is.
Leon Coleman, not over 30. Anyway, peace, y'all. We are out of here, and we are out. Before we go, let's do this.
Peace, family. Welcome to NYP Talk Show. This is more than a podcast. It's a conscious platform rooted in truth and culture. From the 5% Nation, Nation of Islam, Moorish movement, and Masonry. Our mission is to reclaim our narrative and uplift the African diaspora with real stories and real conversations. Support us through super chats during live shows, donations on Cash App, GoFundMe, Patreon, or Buzzsprout, and by repping our official merch, available on our website and right here on YouTube's merch shelf. Every dollar, every super chat, every hoodie builds the movement. This is NYP Talk Show.